Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in. And today we're going to talk about one of my favorite things, false lashes. I know I talk about it a lot, but that's because I can't live without them. I wear them every day. They give me life. I can go out in public barefaced. Okay, barefaced, no makeup. As long as I have my lashes, I'm good to go. So in today's video, I thought, why not help you guys on choosing how to choose lashes, because there's so many and it can be very overwhelming. So if you want more pointers on how to choose the right lash for your eyes, then keep on watching. So I started wearing false lashes about, I think 2 or 3 years ago, and it wasn't an easy one. It was a lash journey. I had to go through so many kinds and styles of lashes to find the right one that would suit my eyes. So here are a few tips to help you choose the right one. So tip number 1, consider your eye shape and the size of your eyes. In my case, I have small Asian eyes and they're a little bit almond shaped, so kind of like go upward. There's downturned eyes, there's round eyes, there's hooded eyes, there's so many different eye shapes because, well, in my opinion, small eyes like mine look better in lashes that are not too long and not too heavy, densely voluminous, because it will just overwhelm your eyes. And instead of enhancing your eyes, it will just drag your eyes downward and make it look heavy. And that's not what we want. We want to look light and happy. And yeah. Tip number 2, ask yourself, what look are you going for? Are you going for a more natural, everyday look? If that's the case, then you don't want to go for lashes that are going to overwhelm your eyes, that are extremely long and fluffy and thick. Unless that's what you want, then go ahead, by all means. Go ahead, you do you. So on the left side, here are 2 examples of lashes that are very natural. They're not as dense, they're not as long and fluffy. The eyelash on the right, you can tell it's more voluminous. So tip number 3, you have to ask yourself, what style of lash do you want? There's so many. One is a flared lash, where the lashes start short from the inner corner and they flare out in the outer corners. I love this lash if I want to do a cat eye look, or it's even best for those with a little bit of downturned hooded eyes, because it just gives that nice lift to the eyes. There's voluminous lashes where I find that they're very thick, a lot of hairs, so they're thick and dense, or wispy. I love wispy lashes because they look natural and they're just light and fluffy. Then you get into more extreme, extravagant lashes, and they're called 3D, 4D, even 5D lashes, where they're more densely packed, but they're light and fluffy, so they're a little bit longer and has volume at the same time. Tip number 4, consider the length of the lash. This is the most important factor for me when I'm looking for my lashes, because the length determines the style and the look that I'm going for. So for example, the 9 to 10 millimeters length, that's more natural on my eyes, and the length between 10 to 12 millimeters, that's like the perfect length for my everyday glam. So for example, in my eyes, they're flared, so they're short in the middle and then get longer on the outside. The length in the middle is 10 millimeter, and the longest length is 14, I think about 13, 14 millimeters. So I usually use the between 14, 15 millimeters max. If I'm going out and I want to be dramatic, that's the maximum length that I would go for. Any longer than that on my eyes, it would just look too heavy. So starting from the top, the first eyelash, this is the most natural. This is 9 millimeters long. These 2 are 10 millimeters long. So I use these 2 if I want a very more natural look, if I'm just going every day. This here is the flared. So as you can see, it goes from 10 millimeter, then it extends to the longest length of 15 millimeters. This one is very fluffy. This one I usually use when I want to go out, a night out, a more dramatic effect. As you can see, it's more fluffier. It is light, and these are 15 millimeters. And the same thing with this. This lash here is also 15 millimeters, and I use this more for evenings out. Tip number 5, consider the band thickness. I find thicker bands are easier to apply. You just take the tweezers, you bend it a little bit so it can mold easier to the shape of your eye, and that's it. But you would have to cover it with eyeliner if you want to make it less noticeable. Lashes that have the invisible band I find a little bit trickier to apply because it's very thin and invisible. However, they do give you that very natural look, and oftentimes when I put those on, I don't need to apply liner, but it's up to you. Tip number 6, do you want faux mink or mink? I know that mink give the most natural look, but faux mink is just as good. Tip number 7, wait a minute, or is it 6? Yes, it's tip number 7. Consider the design of the lash. This is another factor that is very important when I choose my lashes, along with the length of the lash. So the design of the lash I'm referring to, I guess how to describe it, is there is lashes that have that crisscross effect versus the lashes that are just straight across from the band. In my opinion, I like the crisscross. I find that it gives a more natural look on my eyes, and it doesn't look fake. Okay, so an example of the crisscross design that I'm talking about would be this second one here. You could tell the hairs are going crisscross to each other. This flared one as well, you could see from the lash band that the hairs are crossing each other. This style I really like, the crisscross. It's same here, crisscross. This one is really fluffy, not as, oh my god, please excuse my nails. They're not as crisscross effect, but I like it just the same because it has this natural fluffiness to it, as opposed to this lash. I don't know if you can see the difference between these two. This is like straight cut across, and it's not crisscross. So this style I don't like on my eyes because it looks unnatural. I don't know if you can see the difference. And last but not least, tip number 8. Do you want to use magnetic lashes, or do you want to use the standard lash and glue version? For me, I recently discovered magnetic lashes and I love it. I use magnetic lashes every day now instead, so I could give my lashes a break and I won't be using the glue all the time and pulling out my lashes with the glue. So I use only the magnetic lashes every day, and then the lash glue for times when if I'm going for special occasions, or I'm going to the gym, or doing any, strenuous activity. You catch my drift. Okay, and that's it. This is my guide on how to choose false lashes. I hope you found it very informative and useful. Please let me know, and don't forget to click on the like button and share and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.